to the EdSales Edge. You're getting me in my sportiest of all looks. I just had my first, well, it was orientation at cardiac rehab,
Wow.
John. So usually my hair would be as nicely combed as yours, but I'm wearing a hat, and
I
that's
guarantee
okay.
you weren't the youngest there.
I will talk to you about all of that and my impressions offline, but I am happy to be there, and I'm going to show up. I'm going to show up, and
You know,
today,
can I just give you a humbling story? Because I don't mean to make light of that and to make a comment like that. But sometimes we have to laugh. As
yeah,
you know, I've had a battle with skin cancer, being dumb about it. And I'll never forget on light of that comment, being at Fox Chase Center and going in for my checkup and seeing the signs are really like sobering, right? One sign
yeah,
says chemo that way, and the other sign
yeah,
says radiation that way when you're, getting your treatments and that's when it really is real, right? When you're at the cardiac center, you're going through quote cardiac rehab after 100 days of what you went through. It's
yeah,
real, we can get on these podcasts and we can post on social media, and you had a real sobering one the other day or yesterday. But when it comes down to it, we're living life and we're taking swings, and you never know. And, today's a gift.
today is a gift.
There's a lot of people that would love to be at cardiac rehab, right?
Yeah, yeah, and by the way, you have to make a major commitment. It's 3 days a week for 3 months.
Wow.
And if you miss a certain amount, you're out. And so our show today is about taking swings. It is about showing up, even after you potentially have swung and missed. Today, we're talking about why education founders should enter competitions, something that is very relevant right now and near and dear to us. And we believe that people, the founders, should enter competitions even when they might expect that they're not going to win,
Yeah.
and that's okay too. I'm not sure where I found this, but there is a picture on the internet of an underpass, and it says "Fear is a liar." And at one point, I had that as my desktop, and I go back to it quite often. I also go back to a very famous quote from a basketball player, and I'm going to try and get his last name right here, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who now plays for the Miami Heat.
You only have to say
And
Giannis. Isn't that great? When you get
I
to that
know,
level and it's just the first name, that's it. LeBron.
I know, but I wanted to really try it. I think I
Yeah.
did it well. Alvin, who's from Nigeria, will let me know. And at the end of the season, um, Giannis and his team, the Milwaukee Bucks, didn't win the championship. And he talked about Michael Jordan playing 15 seasons and winning 6 championships. And then he asked the reporter, quote, "Were the other 9 seasons failures?" And he said, "Of course not. They were part of the journey. They were part of becoming better. They were steps." And I think education founders need to hear that, and that idea of what Giannis said and how to frame not winning the championship that particular year will help you to enter more competitions. So let's start off that way, and then we're going to dig into specific competitions, and of course, milking Penn GSE.
Yeah, well, first of all, the other quote that I love, and I've used it on this show, is avoidance is fear's best friend, right? So what is it? Fear is
Fear's
a
a
liar.
liar. Yeah.
And avoidance is fear's best friend. And how many times have we had these conversations where you've had a client, you've had a mentee, you've had an advising relationship with somebody, and came to me and said, well, they were committed and then they just decided not to enter the Milken. The Milken Penn GSE business plan competition is the competition that I oversee in its 17th year, giving away $2 million. $200 million of follow-on capital to those who have won. But yeah, how many times have we heard they're just not ready or we decided not to enter? But the flip side we've also heard, Josh, which is we know we didn't win or we didn't advance to the quarterfinals or semifinals, but the process of being able to synthesize our vision, our mission, our core values, and our value proposition was priceless. And we're going to continue to enter and we're going to continue to try to synthesize into that application. It only takes an hour or two, is really rewarding for a lot of these prospects. So I like the process more than the reward. And I think that the process has been rewarding for a lot of people who have gone through many of these competitions that are out there.
I know you make sure that the process is rewarding for them. So if you apply at Milk and Penn GSE and do not win, was it a failure? If you pitch at South by Southwest EDU and somebody else gets the prize, was that a failure? If you enter the ASU GSV Cup or Shark Tank with our friends at IEI and you do not win, was that a waste of time? And in our belief, the answer is no. But I want to put you on the spot because I think you have the answer to this, and I'm not looking for exact data. But what do you think is the reason that people, or what is the reason that people say they don't apply? Is it there is a cost, maybe there's a financial cost, I know it's small, or is it time, or we're not ready? What's that go-to excuse that people use?
We're not ready. In my case, the cost is zero. So yeah, I just have to be older than 18, less than $2 million of ARR, and less than $2 million raised. And you can enter if you're addressing systemic issues in worldwide education. We've supported over 3,000 ventures from 50 plus countries. So that's that. The excuse and the comment is we just weren't ready, and they thought that there wasn't a reward by going through the process of entering, working with your team to determine what is that value proposition? What is that unique selling proposition? Who is that target market? What is the TAM, SAM, SOM, the total addressable market, the serviceable market, and the total achievable market, or the serviceable market? And going through that analysis. There are rewards in and of itself for going through that process and getting ready. Can't tell you how many times somebody applied 1, 2, 3, 4 times and then made it to the semifinalists.
Totally.
And they didn't make it to the finals. They tried the next year. They not only made it to the finals, but they won. And that's a real rewarding process as well, especially when we get so connected to some of these entrepreneurs. The DM Merci from Enlighten App, the Jody Andersons from Resume, the Eric Leiter from Say It Labs, Writer. These are just tremendous entrepreneurs who keep swinging, keep showing up, and through that process, eventually they see the fruits of that labor.
Yeah. The competitions are development opportunities. They will help you improve your presentation skills. They will give you mentorship and exposure. We have seen that. And you will learn, hopefully, from the judges and other founders who you're surrounded by. And it will also force you, to define some foundational elements of your business that you might not have defined. That's potentially where I come in as the EdSales Revenue Machine. But if you have not defined the problem, the buyer, the solution, the market, the business model, the evidence, the competitive difference, the impact, and by the way, the path to scale, you are going to struggle before you hit submit. And that is a great thing.
It is a
The
great
struggle is a great thing, right?
productive struggle is a great thing. In fact, it's a pinpoint. It's table stakes in today's education system. As we want our students to productively struggle, not endlessly struggle and beat them down, but really productively struggle with problem solving, critical thinking, working in teams. This is what 21st century skills and 21st century jobs are going to be all about. But what I'd say also, Josh, that I think is as I thought about today's show and I thought about the experience over the last 7 years of working with some of these phenomenal founders and entrepreneurs is, what's my favorite part about the application? And I thought about this, and maybe this is coy or overly creative, but one of them is the word limit. Every question that you're asked has a word limit. So nobody has the advantage of putting a PhD thesis into the application. You have to say it in 1,000 words or less. Who is your team? What is your competitive differentiation? What is the underlying research and the evaluative model that you're putting into place to prove the outcomes that you're delivering? And probably most importantly, which is weighted high, is equity. What are the equitable access, equitable outcomes, and what are the equitable experiences that you're putting forth to an underrepresented community to really deliver something that has bite, that has merit? And can you stand out to our 60 democratized judges who look at the applications, you included, Josh, to really stand out? And everybody's on an equal plane. We have inter-rater reliability as a research university to make sure that there's no way that you can game the system. We even have AI detection, to say, oh, was that just AI putting that application together? Some use AI to help with synthesis and help with some of their prompts, but for the most part, those that really get to the quarterfinals, the semifinals, ultimately the finals, and win, really have something of strong value that is competitively differentiated, that stands out to the judges in a unique way. But when 500 plus applications come in and only 7 can win, the reward is the process itself of being able to convey and synthesize the information in a way that's going to help your team and your venture move forward.
Yeah. You used a word, it's a pinpoint. It's just a pinpoint. And I use that word just on purpose. Because it's just that. It's just a pinpoint. And this is the first step to success. Before the stage, before the judges, before a winner is announced, the application itself forces you to look at the business differently, which is a great thing because, as one of the mentors I've had said, it's hard to see the label from within inside the bottle. And it truly is, because we are way inside the bottle on our own businesses. And so this gives you an opportunity to look at it through a different lens. Sometimes the first thing a competition gives you is clarity about what is not ready in your business yet. And that yet goes back to what you talked about the Jodies and the DMs and the other folks who have gone back to this competition like they do the others on multiple occasions, and they keep trying and they keep trying and they keep learning and they keep learning. So when you think about those people who keep trying and they keep coming back, what is it inside of Jody and DM? And I know you have a long list. David Dworkin, a member of the 3E community. Paul King, who keeps trying. What is it about those people that says, I'm going to keep at this?
Yeah, David Dworkin, 2-time semifinalist. Love Higher Cause, love David, the entrepreneur, and love what he's doing. And the balance, family pressures, yes, and, new additions to his family. And, we had one of our semifinalists who came to one of our Ask Me Anythings and said, you've seen me from the chest up, but I've been pregnant this whole time and I had a baby.
Wow.
We get that all the time. The C word is what I think about, and that is connection. The Jodies, the Davids, I think the feedback that they provide that is when they get the most out of the connection and the collaboration with like-minded, purpose-driven founders, and the collaboration they get from mentors and advisors, you included, through this process. Anybody who doesn't make it to the quarterfinals or semifinals has an opportunity to join our virtual accelerator for less than $500. They can assess their business through our Catapult Advanced membership. They can connect with advisors on, hey, is my team composition appropriate? Am I applying AI in a responsible, ethical, secure way? Am I focused on lead generation and my signature solution in a way that would make Josh Chernikoff proud? Do I have an appropriate or a realistic approach to fundraising, or is it just a hockey stick? I'm going to be $1 billion company without applying the right assumptions. In all those cases, we don't leave you alone. You can come to our office hours. You can come have, one-to-one mentoring. You can join our virtual accelerator, and eventually, through that connection and that collaboration, we find that ventures and founders get better, and eventually they are able to advance.
Yeah. One of the things that Alvin and I talked about before we came on this show was, yes, mentors and judges can give you something. And that something is so different in many cases than a customer or an investor or even your own team. And so I think it's important for people who enter these competitions to recognize the mentors and the judges and the value that they bring, and that you might not see that, again, from the outside looking in. A judge saying, I still do not know who pays for this. That might feel painful, and honestly, I had to do it about 30 minutes ago for a client. But it's really important that we give that feedback.
Yeah.
And we're there to do that. So can you talk us through some of the other competitions, and in no particular order, the ASU GSVs, the South by Southwest, the IEI, the ERDI, whoever, let's just talk through not necessarily the good, the bad, and the ugly of them, but why you should enter a competition and some of the highlights of those folks.
Yeah, so let's start with ours. Just get that out of the way.
Totally.
Just go to Milken competition. Just Google that. You'll see information on our finalists, and you'll have an opportunity to tap into our newsletter so you can get updates, news, and information on the next cycle, which tends to start late December and into January. Then we have our application period, and then we have our announcement of our semifinalists. And the finalists, which tends to be in that September-October timeframe.
Totally.
It's a great competition. It's not just an apply and then pitch. Your semifinalists go through our 4-month virtual accelerator and get amazing advisory support from people like you, Josh. So that's the first. I'm a big fan of the launch on Kayla Myers at the launch at South by Southwest EDU, having a meeting with her about her plans moving forward. We get a lot of the same applicants, and in some cases the same winners. Jody's been a winner, Anderson from Resume of both. College Contact was a winner of both. I was a judge at South by Southwest EDU launch, and I think it's an incredible program in terms of how they have connections and collaborations around the event. And then who doesn't want to be in Austin in March, presenting on the big stage around thought leaders in education? So I just love it. I also love how it's the week before the other South by Southwest. So you're going to have festivals and music, and you're really an uplifting experience around media and the arts. Love it.
It's my favorite. It's honestly my favorite conference.
Yeah, we have a really good time breaking bread there and meeting with people there and doing what we do. I also am a big fan of Start Ed and the Ed Tech Week and Ash K's Shark Tanks. I think that's a really great opportunity. He also provides free advice and free consulting to the Shark Tank presenters who actually make it through and present in October at the Ed Tech Week in New York City. Big fan there.
Yeah, that's let me interject there. That one, by the way, I love Ash and I love the program as well. Kind of has not been on my radar because for the last 4 years we've been in Mexico,
Right.
And it always seems to fall around the time of DC Startup Week, where I speak.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't able to choose both. So that one doesn't necessarily kind of come top of mind for me, but I know it's a phenomenal experience.
I'm on the host committee with Ash
Yeah.
and group, and just love the programming there, and also love what happens in the halls and outside of the rooms. Big fan of EdTech Week, and a lot of the Shark Tank winners, a lot of the Shark Tank presenters are also applicants to the Milken. So there's a lot of sisterhood, brotherhood happening there. I also know that you make it to the ASU GSV Cup, you're doing something right. They Deborah and the group at ASU GSV have a remarkable judging system, and really have a way with determining the best of the best startups that are coming through and make it to the top of the ASU GSV. And whenever we see an application and we see that they were a semifinalist or a finalist at the launch at South by Southwest, or at the Shark Tank, or at Tech Week, or in the GSV Cup, that means a lot to us. It means that they've been vetted beyond our 60 democratized judges, and they're seeing the same kinds of things that we're seeing. So there you have it.
Cool. Let me ask you one last question, then we're going to wrap.
Yep.
Is there a right or wrong competition for a founder to enter, or would you say just swing away?
I think that you should do your research, and I'll close with this too. I know we're going to wrap, but is a grant application a competition? I think it is. So the SBIRs, IES, and our good friend Ed Metz, who moved on from the IES and the SBIR program, will tell you it's just as powerful to get an SBIR grant. $250,000 for a phase 1 award, and you can do it NSF, Department of Education, in some cases the NIH. Those are great competitions in and of itself. You may not get on stage, but you're going to be judged by authorities, and if you make it through and you get non-dilutive funding, what's better than that? So I think you got to do your research. We're really careful, although I get criticized sometimes when I say it should only take you an hour or two, and people are like, geez, man, it took me 5-6 hours.
Right.
So I apologize for that, but I really think that it should not take you away from your day-to-day activity as a founder and an entrepreneur. But I do think that it's important that you can figure out how to summarize your value proposition, highlight your team in 1,000 words or less. And if you can get that there, I think you're going to be able to use the information that you put in an application for other things. Could be a grant application, could be an award, and not just a competition. So I think it requires some discipline, but I think it's well worth the time and rewarding in itself. Then when you make it through and you're able to collaborate and connect with like-minded, purpose-driven founders and entrepreneurs, makes a big difference on your entrepreneurial journey, which, as you know, can feel very lonely.
And painful at times.
Painful. Gotcha.
Giannis had it right. John Gamba had it right. It's not failure. It's steps to success. So enter the competition. Prepare like you plan to win. Pitch like you plan to win. Follow up like you plan to win.
And
But if
engage,
somebody-
Josh, and engage. For those that are in the Philly area on September 14th, come to the Milken competition here at Penn GSE on campus at Penn, and lean in and watch and experience the magic. I think that's a powerful opportunity for entrepreneurs who are in the area and want to experience that magic.
I agree. We're going to host an event there so people will get information about that. The most important thing here, hopefully people remember, fear is a liar. So enter that competition.
Fear is best friend.
Just remember, fear sucks.
Fear sucks.
Okay? Fear sucks. And we appreciate you guys showing up. It's the middle of the summer, but these competitions do not rest, and neither should you. Find the right one to enter, start with one, and reach out if you have questions, and we'll help you kind of parse out which one is best for you. We're big fans of the Penn Milken, of course, but we also know the other ones. Thanks for showing up, John.
And thank you, Josh, for being a loyal sponsor and a contributor to our competition. Your sponsorship and your advisory support means the world to us.
It is my honor.
Talk soon.
Thank you.